Hey y'all, welcome to AE Unplugged, where adult learning gets real, raw, and a little bit personal. I'm your host, Camille, and every episode we dive into the stories, voices, and experiences that shape how adults learn and grow beyond the classroom. So get comfortable, grab your favorite beverage, and let's get into it. Today's episode dives into the world of non-traditional learners, specifically our student parents, through the story of someone living it every single day. We're talking about balancing motherhood, coursework, full-time responsibilities, and the internal and external pressure of going back to school as an adult. And while student parents are often overlooked in traditional conversations about adult learning, they represent one of the most powerful, motivated, and complex groups navigating higher education. Today, we get to hear directly from my good friend, Karen Austin, a mother of three and a returning undergraduate student whose journey speaks to resilience, identity, and generational transformation. Karen Austin is from Raleigh, North Carolina, but currently is a sophomore at Old Dominion University, where she is majoring in early childhood development with a minor in business. She works full time while pursuing her degree and balancing family, academics, and career goals with determination and purpose. Karen is committed to showing her children that no matter what your age or circumstances are, it is never too late to return to school and build the future that you envision. With that said, I would like to welcome my good friend, Karen.
Hey,
Hey! How are you? How are you, my love?
good. How are you?
I am doing well, doing well. Firstly, I just want to say thank you for taking the opportunity today to come and talk to us over here at AE Unplugged.
No
I think it's
problem.
I think it's a great opportunity for us to really get the real and raw, uncut version of what it may be like to be a parent and a student at the same time. And so I have a host of questions, but before we really get into the nitty gritty of it all, I want you to just take the time, very briefly, to tell us about yourself. I know I read your bio, but tell us about yourself and your story.
So, in my bio, yes, I am from North Carolina, born and raised.
Yes, indeed.
Um, I graduated from high school in 2017. 2007. So,
2007. Okay, I got you.
2007. I was on my own daycare when I was in high school. I was on the honor roll, beta club. I pretty much took all the courses to get where I want to be at when I got out of high school, graduated. I'm like, my next step, go to college. Well, probably community college then to the university. My mom was like, yeah, no, you're not going. She didn't think I could do it. She kind of basically like, it's not worth my time nor the money. But she wasn't gonna pay. I was gonna get financial aid, or my dad was gonna pay for it. But my mom was like, "Oh, you got that learning disability. There's no way you're gonna make good grades. You barely graduated from high school." I like looking at my grades, like my grades are good. Like, what are you talking about? But she was always discouraged me, trying not get me to go. I'm like, I'm gonna go one day. I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get my degree. And I mean, I'm back in school now, having boys. Took time off. I did have kids, and I'm showing them no matter what it is, life will throw obstacles in your way, put stuff in your way, and you gotta learn how to deal with it and go with the flow.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Well, we like I said, we are glad you're here, and you touched on a handful of things that like I just want to talk about with you for a quick second there, right? So,
Mhm.
I think one of the first things that I kind of identified in what you were just telling us is that you graduated high school in 2007, right?
Mhm.
So, and currently you're a sophomore in
Hey.
ODU, right?
Yes.
So you started your, I guess, your collegiate journey for your bachelor's not too long ago, right?
Not too long ago, I actually graduated from TCC for in 2023
TCC.
with
That's
Tidewater Community College.
that okay. Got you. The community college.
I
Got
went
you.
to, I went to the community college first before I even did the university, just to see if I really wanted to go back. So I do have my associate's degree in early child development from TCC. That actually helped me focus, helped me with different stuff I need to learn. They kind of gave me more like it's more home. Like, okay, our advisors, like even though there's all these kids, they had a program called Open Door Project that I was in, and they kind of do one on one with you. You get tutors, you get wherever you need to be
Hmm.
successful in school, also out of school. So when we did our tours, Norfolk State at the time, I didn't think it was gonna be the best fit for me. So we went to ODU, and just being on that campus, I'm like, okay, this is home. This is where I'm gonna graduate from.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Okay, so associate's degree from TCC, right?
Yes,
And so then we got that, and then now we're starting our journey at Old Dominion University, getting our bachelor's degree. Um,
bachelor's and
all of
master's.
all the bachelor's and masters. Okay,
Yes,
come on.
double and major,
Yes,
double and major. Well,
yes,
minor in
double.
business.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
feel like I
yes.
might as well go ahead and knock both degrees out.
I love
So
that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I truthfully, I think before we kind of dive into like all of the things, like what do you want to do once you graduate?
when I graduate, I want to run my own daycare. I want to have a business where yes, there is a lot of daycares out there, but a lot of daycares is doing a lot of overturn rates. Or the rates are way too high for family to afford, for
Mm-hmm.
one, or they not taking benefits from the government or from military people because a lot of the military is in this area and they be on a wait list for a couple of years. When the baby get old enough, they go to school then. By
Yeah.
the time they get to their name, so I'm like, if I could step in and have a business, I eventually want to make my business bigger where I would have after school programs before, after school for grade school, middle school, and also high school. Show students there's other ways. Don't have to be on the streets. Don't have to be in gangs. Don't have to do everything everybody's saying that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Especially young black men. Cause I have three of them. So showing them a way out, like, okay, if you want to play football, your grades gotta be good. Let's get a tutor. Make sure you stick to the routine so that way, no matter what everybody say, you can still go to the NFL, NBA. If you want to play baseball, football, whatever you want to do, you can still do it.
I love it. I love it, and I love how nurturing you are to your boys too. Remind me one more time of the age of your boys.
My oldest one, Chris, is 15. Nathan is 13. Javon is 11.
15, 13, and 11.
Yes.
All right, you got three grown men, friend.
Yes. Yes. They
Yes.
eat like yes.
I love it. I love it. So with that said though, like how has it been, raising them, and also like when you were pursuing your associate degree, and then also
Stressful.
like, you said stressful?
Stressful.
How so?
Like,
Talk to me about it.
so with me, while they in school, I had to be in school. So when they at
Mm-hmm.
home, I'm at home. So my schedule had to line up with their schedule. That's like the most stressful things there is. Because regularly, yes, before COVID, go to school regularly. But it was during COVID, so a lot of stuff had to be online. I didn't know how to do online. I'm like, okay, online ain't gonna be it. But I learned how to navigate through it. My kids kind of showed me how to download stuff like Zoom and
Oh my
trying to
God.
navigate help me navigate through school. And they're like, Mom, you need to do all this stuff. Look, in high school we had no laptops, no Chromebooks. We did pen and paper. That's why I'm used to pen and paper,
Mm-hmm.
not computers. But I mean, once they showed me, I kind of got the hang of it. So I just started doing Zoom classes when the campus was shut down, where we couldn't go on school and
Yeah.
being at home with them. So it kind of make it easier. So I'm at home with them while I'm doing schoolwork, while they doing schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, I was their teacher plus doing my own work. It was crazy. Cause
I
one
can
of them got they had two of them got ADHD, and it's like trying to keep them still for 8 hours. It's not it.
My goodness. Okay, so yeah, so you said two of your boys have ADHD.
Yes.
And then you yourself have a learning disability as well. So
And
like,
then we just found out my middle one got he's on the spectrum. He's like autistic, but he's like the high end. So he
okay,
can still do stuff, but it's we still got to monitor him.
he's like high functioning.
High
Okay.
function, yes.
So with learning disabilities like being so prominent in your family, in including yourself, like how has that impacted not only, your ability like trying to get school or being in school? but also like with your kids as well, like how has that been?
It's been stressful. Like I had to like take some time and figure out what's wrong with me first before I could help them. But with
Mm-hmm.
me, it was more just the reading. I went somewhere, went to my doctor. They did a bunch of tests on me, and they're like, "Oh, you just it's your learning disability." I'm like, "Then what is it?" Y'all saying learning, but they're like, basically because when I was younger, I had I a speech impediment basically where I stutter
Mm-hmm.
so much. So they're like, you kind of shut down. You didn't want to read. I'm like, okay, that shouldn't be a reason. They like, no, you delay. I pretty much delayed myself on reading because I had stutter so bad where I didn't want to read. So now I'm trying to catch everything back up. And then my youngest one got the same thing. He got a speech impediment. He stutters, so he gets frustrated. So I can understand why I shut down when I was young trying to read because he get frustrated and ready to throw the book out the window. Like, yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to read no more. But we kind of had to work him through it. We got him help where he sees his therapist like twice a week with speech to help him to say the words, especially when it was like during COVID. They be up there for like 30 minutes. So afterwards, I make him sit there a little bit longer and help him go through the words like, okay, what's this letter? How you say this? And it kind of helped me too to understand, okay, I could do it. He could do it too.
Right. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it in a way, like you yourself are a learner and you recognize where your areas of growth or areas of assistance may be, right? And you're still your
Mm-hmm.
teacher because you are helping your boys kind of get up to speed as well. And I think that shows to another aspect of like showing to your resilience, I think one can only imagine what it is like to you yourself have like learning inhibitors and then your kids have it too and then you're trying to go back to school to create better lives for them, and so
Mm-hmm.
I applaud you, and I truly commend you for taking and sharing sharing the stories, because I know that that can be a lot, right?
Yes.
I want you to take us back to when you first decided that now was the time to pursue my degree. What was that moment like? When did it finally hit for you?
I think right when after the kids that passed away, he passed away in 2018.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Like 2019, I kind of just like I was working, and I'm like I'm tired of working for other people, getting paid less than when I'm worth. And so I went to the kids' grandparents. I sat down, we talked about. I'm like, I want to go back to school. They're like, let's do TCC and go from there. So just getting the acceptance letter saying you got in the TCC, I think that was like my biggest moment. The boys didn't know right away until they saw me doing schoolwork. That when they noticed, like, "Mom, you in school?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Why you didn't tell us?" They're like, "We want to be there too." I'm like, "Y'all got schoolwork over there. Go work on your homework. I got my homework." So during my day in school, I was doing schoolwork. So it was like a bonding moment for all of us. And my oldest son sitting on the couch doing his schoolwork, and I'm sitting in time to figure out a math problem. That boy walked over like, "Oh my, this is this is." I'm like, okay, I know I've been out of school for a minute, but they teach math way different now.
Right.
And he holding the daggone dog in his hand, and they both looking at each other like, she don't get it. I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
I get it. Because it was like on the computer, so it was like, I'm like, wait, I'm not used to doing computer work, so I pull out pen and paper and did it myself by hand. And he's like, Mom, what are you doing?
You
I
better
was like,
you
this I'm so used to doing by hand. I'm like, I'm gonna do this
right.
by hand, and then I'm gonna plug the numbers in. That's how I'm gonna do it. So,
Right. I'm gonna get it in myself.
you know,
You brought up a good point though. Like we are in this technical age, right? And
mm-hmm.
so you're saying that you come from an experience where you were primarily with like pen and paper, right? And now everything is so tech based. Was that a
That
huge
was
adjustment
it.
for
Was
you?
it was from going to not really using the computer unless you had to write a paper. But then we didn't really have to use the computer just only for research because we wrote it by hand, essays, papers by
Yeah.
hand. Now you gotta do everything on the computer. I'm looking like everybody used to it. Like, oh shit, it's easy to type. We can do this. I'm more like still researching
Mm-hmm.
and writing stuff down. And he be like, Mom, really? Just open a document. Like he was showing me how to do certain stuff. I'm looking like, okay, maybe I don't need to go back to school because I'm over here trying to like just like felt a little like, okay, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
missed my window. And my oldest one like, Mom, you didn't miss your window. Things changed, so you had to
Mm-hmm.
change with the time. So he like, you
Mm.
want to get used to it. He like, it might take you a minute to get there. And Damien looking at me like the kid's uncle there. He like, sis, what is you doing? I'm like, my homework. He said, but on paper though, I'm like, at one point, all y'all did homework on paper. I'm not that old now. I said, maybe the two youngest don't remember doing homework on paper. I said, but Chris, you were doing homework on paper. I like, damn, I know you're showing up heavy. He like, but sis, everything's on the computer. I gotta just look everything up and just copy and paste. So like, I don't want to copy and paste. I want to do it. I want to have it where they ask me, hey, I need you to bring that paper in. I can bring it in,
Right.
copy, and I don't have to print it out. And we're like, oh my God,
So
for
what's
real.
this? So what's this like? So was it like a moment where it was like practice make perfect for you to get
Yes.
up there? Okay, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Did you have to like lean on anybody at the school to get you kind of up to speed, or was it like I got this on my own and I got my peoples to get me together?
I'm gonna figure this out on my own. If I need help, I'm gonna go ask for help.
I
But I
got
would
you.
try to do everything on my own. Even though my son be sitting there shaking his head, like I know my mom not over there, and we just show her how to do this, and she still doing the way she wants to. I'm like, look, y'all can show people new tricks. That don't mean they gonna go for it. They gonna go what they
Mm-hmm.
know. So I'm like, I rather to understand what I'm doing. I said, let me figure it out. If I need help, I come to y'all. And Damon like, sis, really? Yes, I'm gonna figure this out. So it took me a minute, especially when I had to write a paper. I'm looking like, okay, all right, pen and paper. I'm sitting there writing my paper out, and he was like, sis, you can, mom. They were like, mom, you can just type it up and just put it through the thing, and what errors you missed, it will fix it. I'm looking like, what? So he showed me Grammarly where it will fix the grammar. It helps you with the
Mm-hmm.
Grammarly, and he like, see, there you go, mom. I'm looking like,
You're like, all right, okay, all right. We
okay,
gonna have to figure this out. I got to get with the times.
yeah,
Speaking of like getting with the times, so like, was it a space where? So I'm hearing there are some generational differences, right? You
yes,
used to a type of learning experience where you were pen and paper when it comes to your assignments, right? And now you're coming back into school. Well, there's a lot of technology based things, so I'm assuming that there was a certain amount of time between those two eras, right?
mhm,
So, and I don't want you to have to age yourself. You don't want to. You don't got to do all that. But I do want to say, if that's the case, I'm assuming that there may have been other students in your classes that may have been younger than
yes,
you.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So, how do you navigate that type of classroom or that type of learning environment where you are almost like often older than a lot of your peers in that space?
It was I had to get used to it. It'd be hard because a lot of them just freshly coming out of high school. So a lot of classes that they took in high school, I didn't take like biology. I didn't take biology in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so trying to learn biology and just trying to like navigating through school, it's been difficult, but I got through it. Like I'm getting through it. Um, I just had to learn how to like, okay, don't be scared to ask for help. Cause that's always been like my biggest thing. Don't ask for. Cause my mom kind of put in my head, if you ask for help, you're not gonna get the help. So you gotta
Mm-hmm.
figure it out on your own. So my grandparents were like, if you need help, ask for help. So you get two different people that kind of raised me on. One said, say, if you need help, ask. If you don't, my mom like, nah, you ain't gonna get the help that you need, or they gonna give you the wrong way to do stuff. Figure it out on your own. Then she like, then hopefully you get it. So it's like more, I kind of had to like navigate my own way. So like one of my professors at Tower Community College, she was my psychology professor, and she kind of helped me navigate through psychology and
Mm-hmm.
just through school period. Like she kind of just helped me and showed me how to like grade my professors. I didn't know how to do that. Didn't even know that was such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting the help and understanding a lot more. When it came down to English, that was like my biggest struggle because my professor would never reach out to me, say, hey, rewrite this, or you need to change this, or, just give me some, like, I email her the paper, like, wait for it, like, can I get some feedback on it? And she will wait, like, the day of when it's due, send me back the feedback, and I'm sitting at the table for like 4 hours rewriting that whole paper.
Yeah.
and I still get an F. I'm just like, huh?
I can imagine how difficult that is when you have one professor in one class that is like, hey, I noticed that I might have to do a little bit more to help you get up to speed. And then you have another one that's like, child, I get to you when I get to you.
Mm-hmm.
That could be frustrating when you're trying to adjust. So do you
It
feel
is.
like as a whole was TCC like do you feel like the resources there or the faculty there were more hyper focused on the traditionally aged students, quote
Mm-mm.
unquote, or do you
No.
feel like what like how was that experience? Like how was the resources there? What were their
There,
focus or the teachers? You know,
cause um, cause I was in open door program, so open door project. They kind of do like first generations, people that coming back to school. So they kind of help you focus. They focus more on once you in, we gonna help you get out the door. Wherever
open
you
door
need
program. So that
open
it was a
door.
program focused to help you. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
So when I went to, also we have an advisor where you can meet with her one on one. Cause some advisors got like 20 different people on their list, and it's like you don't get that one on one time with them. I noticed that at ODU is different than TCC. So with the one at Open Doors, she kind of like gave me that one on one. She's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do with your English. We're gonna retake the English. You're gonna do it in person. Maybe that would help you better because you I tried it strictly online. And when I asked her, okay, how you want this done, or asking her questions, I'm not getting feedback. And she's like, that's the problem. She's like, she got so many people, she's not giving y'all feedback on what y'all need. And she's like, this is your first semester. She's like, I understand you're struggling. So she helped me out, got me a different English teacher when I had to redo English. And I actually passed that class with a C. I was a couple points off from a B, but I'll take it. At least I passed the class. I was more on myself. I'm like, I always made A's and B's in high school. I'm not gonna bring in nothing less than the B, and I'm not bringing a C. So I'm just like, I'll beat myself up, and people
I get
understand like,
that. I get that.
you beating yourself up over a C again. I'm like, cause when you're so used to a grade, A's and B's, cause you know this material, you know how you're gonna do this. I said, then going to college is way different than high school. I had
Yeah.
to learn that.
Yeah, it definitely is a learning curve, right? Especially when
Yes,
there's been some time between once you graduated high school to now you pursuing college. But I'm glad that you had the open door program, though. That's some things that we talk about. So at North Carolina A&T, my lovely HBCU, which I'll be graduating from in 2 weeks, clock it. Thank you. At A&T, there's also a program similar to your open door program at TCC where it takes first generation students. It takes students who are coming in as student parents or folks that are coming in who maybe started school, had that life happen, and then they had to come back to finish their degree. Like we have those type of resources at my institution as well. So I'm glad to hear like even at community colleges, like there are programs there to accessible because that was one thing I was like how do you navigate that journey just on your own? Yeah, now normally there may be a few like faculty members here and there that will go the extra mile, but to
hmm
hear that there was a program to help you get integrated and up to speed, like I love that. So, thank you for sharing that as well. Um, was there any type of emotional shift that you had to do from being in family mode versus you being in student mode within the same day, or was it like you were operating as both at the same time?
I was operating as both at the same time. That could be
Mm-hmm.
hard too to operate both because your brain ain't but can move so fast. So you one part of your head you like, okay, I got like a list of homework I have to get done, and now like, all right, now I gotta cook dinner. So in the midst of me cooking dinner, I would do schoolwork. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing both, and my son would come downstairs. He's like my oldest one, of course. He like, Mom, help you cook, so I could actually try to get my homework done. I'm like, I'm gonna do my homework once y'all go to bed. That when I usually work the best at night, cause quiet. And he said, Mom, ain't your homework done? But I gotta be done by 11:59. I said, it's only 7 o'clock. I got time. He said, Mama,
Ooh,
you don't know if you really got that time. So I'm gonna work on. So I think it was like I forgot what I was cooking fried chicken, and he like, yep, I'm gonna eat this fried chicken while you I'm gonna help cook it. I said, you said you're gonna help eat it. He said that too, but I'm gonna help you cook the food so you can do your homework. And
right.
like my kids would come and help me out. And when I had to do like Zoom class in the evening, my oldest one would sit in the room with me on my bed next to me and be right there with me. He said, "Oh, I know that answer. I know the answer." I'm looking like, I need you
I
to sit over
love
to be
it.
quiet. I need you to sit quiet so I can just focus. And he would hit the unmute button and tell the answer. And the teacher, like, who said that? He like, I did. I was
No.
looking like, felt embarrassed. I'm looking at my own son answering my
Oh
question.
Lord. So your boys was basically your accountability partner while you was operating as both mama and student at the same
Yes,
time. I love
yes.
it. I love it. So was there so um we talked a good little chunk about your experience at TCC. Was the same type of supports and resources available to you once you came graduated TCC and then moved over to ODU?
With ODU, they do have Trio. It's like open door, but you got to put
Okay.
application in. And some down the line, I forgot to submit some paperwork, so I got to resubmit that paperwork. Um, it's it's different. I can tell it's
Mhm.
way different because when I reach out to my advisor about like, hey, what class I need to take, or can we meet? It's like she don't want to meet in person, only on Zoom. Like if you on campus, why just can't stop by the office? I'm used
Yeah.
to stopping by the office and, hey, is there anything else, I could do to bring this grade up or see what I need to do or get more help? And it's like here at ODU, you kind of have to like just do Zoom. It's like you can't meet nobody in the office no more. It's like everybody on Zoom.
Yeah. So it was more of a digital presence than it was an in person presence.
Yep,
Is it safe to say that you thrived a bit more with that in person connection versus
I
that
did.
digital?
I
Okay.
did.
Okay. Now I do know during my time at Old Dominion University there was a like a child I mean well basically a part of your program like the child care or the child
They
development.
We do have early child development. They doing everything based on teaching. Like a lot of our degrees, like our bachelor's degree, if they focus on teaching. So
Mm-hmm.
where instead, yes, we do have a daycare on the campus, but they prefer us to be in class teaching instead of working at the daycare. Cause they talking about getting rid of the daycare soon. They don't know when that's supposed to be
Oh
doing.
really?
Because a lot of us was like, okay, if our field's in daycare, why don't we work in
Work at the
there?
center. Right.
And they say because there's not enough students, not enough kids in the center during the day. So they prefer us to work on camp, work at a school doing our hours to get our, get whatever hours we needed for that in person stuff. But a lot of us, like, we work full time during the day. So how we supposed to, we got to figure that out too. Like, by the end of the year, she didn't even tell me how many hours I needed. Because I asked her, like, how
Mm-hmm.
many hours can I go ahead and start now? When I'm off from work, I could just go in and, start, just following the teacher around, figure out what I need to learn,
Yeah.
and just like, just watch and stuff. And she's like, well, we're going to start that your junior year, more like your senior year, where a whole semester is where you're going to be in camp, be off of campus, but be teaching. I'm like, I do work full time. She's like, well, then you're going to have to get a night job then. Because teaching is going to be where you got to have so many hours for part of your degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
That's
like,
interesting.
but some of them is where they can do it now. So I'm guessing that had changed since I started, where they like law and said, oh no, we starting doing it now to get it
Mm-hmm.
majority out the way, so that way when our senior year we don't have that many where we got to worry about how many times when we could go in and teach and stuff. We could just automatic go in, do what we need to do, and don't have to worry about all the extra certificates we got to get and
Yeah.
CPR stuff. Cause she told me I saw the on my dream work on my degree work where at the end it's like all the certifications. She like, oh, we usually do that your senior year. So a lot of it's only for 2 years. So there's like no point y'all doing it y'all sophomore year because by the time your senior year gets here, you're gonna have to redo it. So
That's
I get
that's
the
that's interesting.
like CPR. They say only lasts for two. First aid for two. So I'm like, I thought first aid and CPR last longer than two.
Mm.
But according to my um person, she's like, nah, it's only for two.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting that you say like they are looking into kind of removing the daycare center in its entirety because that's still a very much so needed resource on that campus. That's been there since I started undergrad a long, long, long time ago. but it kind of sounds like the program when they say that you should be worried about getting your hours in your junior and senior year, that seems as though it's almost as if the program is tailored to like with the assumption that you may have more time to do these things in your
Mhm.
junior and senior year.
That what
And
they assuming.
right, and in this context, right, you are already working full time because you have to provide not only for yourself but for
For
your
the kids.
family as
Mhm.
well. So it is the genuine concern on whether or not, like, okay, you all say that I can do my hours my junior and senior year, but like I work full time, and so the way you all are talking, the center may not even be here by the time I get into my junior
And
and senior year, and I still have to provide for my family and get these hours for this degree. So that's
and
interesting that it's
it
kind of
is
like
because
skewed in
when
that way.
I talked to my advisor about it, she said I will be in the classroom teaching. I won't be at the daycare center. I said, but my degree is for I'm doing child development, so why wouldn't I be in a daycare setting field, not a teaching setting field? I don't want to be a teacher. She's like, well, everybody going through early child development, they have to do some type of teaching. I get that, but wouldn't that be towards the kids, like at the daycare?
Hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do. And they were like, well, she like, well, I'm gonna see what we could do, but usually everybody has to get their teaching license. I like, even though I don't want to be no teacher, but all everybody that's going into the child development area have to get their teaching license.
That's interesting. It's kind of like they're treating the program like a genuine education program,
Mhm.
or and so now I think I'm familiar with some folks who work in the daycare system where, like, they could work certain roles, but like they couldn't teach a class by themselves in its
Mhm.
entirety unless they had their teacher
To
certification.
certification. Mhm.
So I kind of see their point in that end, but it's really just a matter of time and accessibility in your circumstance. Like, when are you going to be able to do these things, so um if anything, I'm going to continue to wish you the best of luck as you continue to figure that out, because I'm going to be at that graduation. One thing about it, I'm going to be, me and them three boys, we going to be right there at
Yes.
graduation, cheering you on when you get there. But yeah, that's interesting. That's something to think about. So, I continuing on your story as you are bridging both the areas of motherhood and studenthood. What differences are you noticing between yourself as a student and a mom, and maybe some of your younger peers in the classroom?
For one, I noticed a lot of them is a lot younger, like they freshly came out from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So they're, I can tell like when you where they say you have to give yourself accountability for being in class, doing the classwork. I notice a lot of them don't show up. I show up. I'm
Yeah.
like financially paying for me to be here. I'm going to be here. But
Yeah.
also when it comes down to the work, it's like they confused or they don't know how to ask questions. And they were like, Karen, how you do this? And like, why was you here like beginning of the week when we supposed to be here Monday and Wednesday? We had Christ, y'all know this. So why y'all not here? Y'all coming on Wednesday and we got a whole test Wednesday. You have no idea what to study because you wasn't here on Monday and she would have told us.
Yeah.
And it's more of a, I notice a lot of them just there just to be there, or they there because their parents made them go to college. They don't want to be there for sure, or they don't know that that's what degree they want to go into.
Yeah.
So it's like I know what I want. It's like rest of them is like, okay, I'm changing my degree next year to second
Mm-hmm.
major, well, second generate not teaching but substitute, or I'm changing my whole degree from child development to arts or music, or just changing my whole degree. So it's they still trying to find a way. I know it's like that's one thing about that. It's like them coming
Yeah.
in.
It's almost as if like the motivation may be different contingent on
Mhm.
the age demographic as well, or the type of experience the student is having. We talk about this in my program too, that like adult learners, like they, when they're coming back to school, like there's a certain spark, there's a certain
Mhm.
reason why they're re-enrolling again, whether it's to better themselves, whether it's to further their education, whether it's to provide for their family and making sure that they're all right. So the motivation can be a bit different contingent on where the students are at in those roles. So
Mhm.
I think that's also kind of to be expected, that coming back in, you like, hey, there's not, it's no, see, but there's not much time for me. I got to come in and get this in for my baby so I can change that life around, you know? I think
Mhm.
sometimes that younger students may just feel like they just have more time to get it. So
Mhm.
I was one of those persons in early undergrad. I was like, I don't know. I remember Perchia Martin at Old Dominion University. She asked me my first year being an RA. She was like, Camille, what do you want to do in life after you get your degree? And I'm like, I don't know. I figured out. I got 2 more years. So I was one of those students. I can imagine it's different when you're coming in at a different age group, and you're like, I know this is what I want to do. This is what I know what I want because I got
Mhm.
this. I got these folks to provide for. You know,
Mhm.
so that's interesting. That's interesting. Is there any moments where you believe that you may be a bit too hard on yourself? And if so, how do you overcome those things?
I have, especially when it comes to my grades, I'm more hard on myself because I know my grades. Like I know what I need to make because I want
Mm-hmm.
my grades to be good to show the boys don't matter. Yes, y'all could bring in the C, but I'm gonna get on you about that C. But I'm not gonna bring nothing less than the C. But when
Right.
they bring in a D and a F, I get on them. And when they see my grades, they're like, "Mom, why you got an F in this? Or why your grades this?" Like they get on me. They're like, "Mom, you know, you don't. We can't bring in no D. Why are you bringing a D?" I like she haven't finished grading everything. So I had to remind them, but I had to like kind of remind myself. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, take a minute to break. Just know that she got up there, like, cause some teachers don't grade everything at once, or they wait until the last minute and grade everything. Then you know your grade. It's like when they don't grade it right then, you be like, okay, I'm going off. I'm seeing the C, but I did all the work. But when I look down my grades, she haven't graded everything. So it's like, okay, now I gotta wait for her to grade everything. It's like
Mm-hmm.
just waiting for that grade to go up is where I had to like kind of remind myself, like, give her time, give them time. They still got other classes they have to grade.
Yeah,
Like you
so you
gotta
like
be
you
more
ground
patient.
yourself back. You
Yes,
bring
like gotta
yourself
be
back
more,
down.
be a little bit more patient. So yeah.
I get that. I'm kind of the same way where I can get a bit antsy. Some
Mhm.
of my professors have seen the same. When things don't go as planned, I'm like, nope, nope, nope. This got to get this way. This got to this way. And I've had plenty of times where my professor's like, Camille, you're at a 10. I need you at a 2.
Mm.
I need you at a 2. You know, so I've been there too. Um, Before we move on into two of our final questions, I'm gonna pause and name something super important about the experiences that you shared so far.
Mhm.
And it's that student parents, they occupy a unique space in higher ed and adult ed overall, where
Mhm.
there's this like joint expectation of like adulthood, of like caregiving and academic success, like all collided into one thing. Um, and it raises a very essential question, and that question for both everyone but also for you in particular is, can someone truly separate their identity as a parent from their identity as a learner, or is that journey a constant like negotiation and battle between the two?
Battle between the two. I
Mm-hmm.
have to remind myself, okay, yes, I am this age. Yes, I am 38. I gotta remind myself I'm around a bunch of 20-year olds.
Come on,
So
38. Hold on, hold
it's
on.
like
Come
I
on,
kind of have to
38.
like, okay, they is just got out of high school. They just freshly in college. They like
Mm-hmm.
to party and just had to remind myself, okay, I'm not that age to go party no more. I got kids. I have work. I just had to regrind myself back. Like, okay, I missed that part, but at least I'm doing the education part. So
Yes.
I don't see myself because a lot of people ask like for homecoming for ODU, they like, oh, you coming to the tailgate, you coming to the parties. I had to work, so I miss out all of that, and I'm getting all messages like, hey, you coming to the tailgate? Hey, you coming? I'm like, I'm at work. They're like, really can't? I had
Say,
to
baby, I
work.
got to work.
I got to work. I gotta make the money.
I
And it's like
understand.
I felt like yeah, I'm like dang, maybe next year I could do all that. Hopefully I'm not working so much where I can actually enjoy homecoming and have the
Mm-hmm.
boys there and show them like, okay, this is a college. I need y'all still be on your best behavior, but
Yes.
y'all can enjoy be at homecoming with me. And it's like I had to remind myself the whole homecoming week. I'm like, Karen, you got work in the morning. You can't go out party tonight. Everybody tell you like, hey, you coming out tonight, especially where I live at. They having parties on the fourth floor and everybody on Snapchat like, "Hey, come through, come through." I'm looking like, yeah, let me just turn my phone off and just
Okay.
go to
You
sleep
said
because I
y'all
got work.
y'all can be fun, but I got work. Both work and school work at the same time. I got things I
Hmm.
got to do. So y'all have fun. Be safe.
Yes.
I understand. But that really speaks on like how your experiences kind of like live at this like intersection, right? Because you are managing a household, you got to provide for that financially, right? Then you're pursuing your degree, right? And you brought up a good point. Like one day you want to be able to bring your boys to
Hmm.
a homecoming and tailgate, but at the same time, like you are modeling for them what it is like as far as transformation for your children, as far as being in college and what the collegiate experience looks like for your kids. Like I remember at one time in passing, you even said that one of your boys was like, "Mom, I want to go to ODU because you went to
Hmm.
ODU." Like that's
Yes.
so powerful, you
It's
know?
like because my oldest son wants to play football, but he also can play
Mm-hmm.
basketball. My middle one wants to play baseball. My youngest one football, soccer, any sport at that point. And we were talking about. He was like, "I'm like, all right, you're a freshman, so what you want to do when you graduate?" "I don't know. I'm gonna go to college." I'm like, "What you gonna do while you in college though?
Right.
What's your degree? What's gonna be your major?" And he looked like, "Mom, I don't know." I'm like, "You need to know." I said, "By your junior year, you need to know, so that way
Mm-hmm.
when we start looking at these colleges, you know what you're applying for." He like, "I'm gonna go to Clemson or ODU." I'm like, "Son, I love you, but you need to know what you. Okay, you got the schools down. Two. All right, cool. Clemson gonna cost a lot, but okay. ODU, okay." I'm like,
Uh
"Okay."
huh.
I said, "Or you go to Norfolk State." And he like, "HBC." I'm like, "Yeah, you can do HBCU too. You know, I didn't go,
Right.
but you could go." He
The
like A and
options are
T.
limitless.
You know, he like A and T. I said, "Okay, A and
You know I'm a bit
T."
biased.
I like A&T, okay, but I need to know what you want to be, what you want to do, what's your major,
Yeah.
like what you want to go and fill in. I don't want, I like, we got the schools down, but we need to know what you want to do. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to those job applications for school, you know what your major in. I said you might get there and not want that and change it, but don't change your major about 7 times like your uncle did. Anyway, and he was like, "Mom," I said, "Your uncle changes his major almost every year." But luckily, he stuck with the major he got, and lucky he graduated in December next year. So I'm glad.
Good.
I'm glad. But that boy
But
went through majors, and
yeah,
I'm like, you got to figure out what you want, but you got to know what you want to start out with first. And
that's good.
he like probably something with like football medicine or something like that. I said, okay, you want to stay in the sports field? Cool. Now we got to see what schools have those degrees when they
Mm-hmm.
get closer. If you want to, by then he probably gonna change his mind about 4 times. I said, but we're not following another girl to another college, son. You're not gonna go to the same
Right.
college as your girl. Like I know y'all two friends. He's like, "My that's my girlfriend." I said, "Y'all friends, son,
Right.
friends,
Right. Okay.
friends,
But I mean,
friends."
but look at it though. Like like I said, you're really setting an example and getting them to
Mhm.
start thinking about earlier on, while you're already still the learner, but you're in mommy mode and saying, we gonna have to, if you gonna go to school, we gonna have to create a plan. So
Yes.
I love that. I love that, and that
Cause
kind
I
of
don't.
brings me
I just.
to
I feel like if he don't have a plan, I don't want him to just go there blow money and decide that he gonna drop out. I need
right.
because you want to go. I like you want to go in the NFL or NBA. I said, but one thing about it, if you blow your knee out or you get injured, what you gonna fall back on?
Man, you
And
gotta have
he
that
was.
degree.
I'm
You
like,
gotta have the
and
degree.
then you gonna go back to school. Why don't you just go ahead and go to school now?
Right.
I said, if
Do
you
it
get
now.
drafted,
So you
I
something
like
you
at
have to
least
fall back on.
fall back on. Say if you get drafted, cool. But hopefully you don't get drafted until like your senior year when you're about to graduate, son. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to double up and miss out on your senior stuff because you worry about for college. Oh, I'm getting drafted. I'm about to go to NFL or NBA and miss out on a lot. So let's
Mm-hmm.
slow your roll. I said you
Yeah.
want to play for
Yeah.
the,
Just slow
you
it
want
down
to
a
play
little
for
bit.
Baltimore Ravens, cool, or wherever basketball team you want to play for, cool. I
Mm-hmm.
said, but let's do one thing at a time. I said, but first your grades got to be good in high school for
That's
to go
good.
to
That's
college.
good, Karen. That's really good. And that kind of brings me to our last two closing questions.
Hmm.
Which the first one it's kind of generic, but I love to always ask these questions, even in our personal conversation. Is what keeps you coming back, even on the hardest days?
My kids, knowing that yes, I'm doing it for myself, but I'm doing more for them because I want them to see, okay, even though mommy go to work, mommy do schoolwork, she still got time for us.
Mm-hmm.
and they see how hard I'm working and how hard I'm trying to get this degree, so that a way they could go to any college they want and they don't have to be on financial aid or take out loans, like taking loans out, and when you get out of college you in debt.
Yeah, I
So
get that. Well, and so your kids are what keeps you going, and I love that. I love that, and keep them at the forefront. Like keep them as your motivation for you to do what you need to do. My last closing question for you is: what do you wish people understood about parents in college?
it don't matter. I feel like when they look at us and they see like, oh, they old. It ain't we're old. It's because when we want to go to college, we couldn't, or we could
Right.
afford to go, or it could have been circumstances like a parent dying, or your parent don't want you to go, or you had to go and work because you got brothers and sisters to take care of because your mom not there or your dad not there. So it's like life be life, and when we growing up, and it's like not everybody had that chance to go to college like I wanted to. So when it's time, like okay, when we know, like I know when it was time for me to go back, I'm like I need to go back, or I ain't gonna go back at all. I ain't gonna go at all. This is my time,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna go now, so they can understand. Okay, I'm here, I'm going. And it took me a minute to like realize like I need to stop being so hard on myself. But I used to like beat myself. I like why I didn't go out of high school. Then I had to remind myself. My mom always said I wasn't good enough. So when I got that degree, I wish she was alive because she would have. I would have sent her the picture of it, but she was dead by the time I got my degree.
Yeah,
But
she
I
was.
kind of did it more to show her and my mom's side of the family. I did it regardless of what y'all said. It's like a lot of family members will put you down, or people don't understand what people go through. At the end of the day, they're like, "Oh, you just you in school. You don't know what happened or why we didn't go to school right out of high school, or what was the reason why we didn't go until now." A lot of people
Yeah.
just judge, and you can't judge a book by cover because at the end of the day, you don't know everybody's story. Everybody have a
Amen.
story.
Yes, yes. Everybody has a story. Yes, and with that said, I want to move us on to the final spark, right? Which is,
Mhm.
it's honestly, it's like a reflective, like opportunity for you to like give a closing thought. Um, and in my era or my final spark this week, and I'm hearing is that like your story is truly like a reminder that learning does not stop when life gets full, and that it is sometimes in our fullest seasons that we got to continue to push through to get to that deepest sense of growth, right?
Mhm.
I think you all as student parents know this immediately because like you are learning, but you're still loving on them kids. You building while you also still balancing. You showing up for your families while trying to also show up for yourselves. So, and I think the truth of it all is like, I'm glad y'all are doing it, but like you also don't have to do it alone either. So that leads me to my challenge in my final spark of this week, which is that I want folks to really pay attention to who is in your circle, and who might be carrying some additional responsibilities that you haven't necessarily had to think about. And instead of assuming that these people got it, like ask for support that would actually make their day a bit lighter. Like
Mhm.
I was an undergrad and I had a couple of friends that were student parents, and I genuinely did not think about like, wow, you really might be balancing a lot while trying to get this same degree that we're fighting for together. So if anything, Karen, I think you have taught us today that pursuing an education with children is not a setback at all,
It's not.
right? But it's more like a reason for you to keep going. It's the reminder that your dreams kind of still matter and that your future is consistently unfolding as you're pursuing that degree.
Mhm.
So that's my spark and my challenge for this week. What final thought do you want to leave with the folk out in the world?
I feel like once you go back to school, don't stop. Cause once you take that break, like I take a summer break because I need that time off from school and just work and be
Mm-hmm.
with boys. But if you take a semester off, you might not want to go back. So you keep going. You might have days like I have my days where I don't want to go back. I'm like, okay, when a break about to come up, I'm about to just take semester off. But then I keep telling myself, if I take that semester off, I might not go back. I might just say I'm done.
Yeah.
Cause you get overwhelmed with work, school, raising kids, and you be like, okay, who's there for me? besides
Mm-hmm.
me. But when
Mm-hmm.
if you have a village behind you, like family that actually care or people that actually care in your circle, then you could keep going. It's just
Absolutely.
gotta remind yourself why you're doing it, and
Yes,
don't take
I
no
love
break. Cause
it.
everybody like I'm gonna take a break and go back in the fall semester. A lot of them don't go back to fall semester because they don't got the energy for it no more. I had to learn that over the summer. I started took off summer semesters. I'm like, okay, I start back in fall, and when fall come, I'm like, dang, I never should have took summer off. I should have just kept going. Cause I know
Mm-hmm.
when I take that break, it's like, okay, how much more longer I got till I'm actually done with the
Right.
degree? Like I'm ready to get
Okay.
done, ready to be out. Like now, it's like you just gotta remind yourself, okay, take a couple weeks off, but go get right back
But keep
into it.
going. But keep
Hmm.
going. And in the words of Karen Austin, y'all heard it here first. Keep going. In the words of Dory from Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. Okay. Karen, I want to give a huge thank you to you for being here today and for sharing your story, for sitting and giving us the laughs and giving us those relatable moments. And also, just thank you to everyone once again for tuning in to AE Unplugged. If today's conversation has spoke to you or resonated with you in any way, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. And as always, keep learning, keep living, and keep it unplugged.